Redscale, this is probably my favorite unique colored film stock. Technically, there is no such thing as redscale film. It's just normal film that has the light go through the back of the film. Yes, film has a back and a front. The front is where the emulsion sits. However, if you flip the film on purpose, or buy a red-scaled film, you will shoot going through the transparent backing layer and hitting the film's chemistry in reverse. After I'd finished off those photos with my RB67, I then loaded my Fujica 690 with my pano kit, and popped in my only roll of Lomo's 35 redscale that I had for this project. As you can see by the first few photos, I underexposed these shots somehow. And like most films, it doesn't handle underexposure well. But these photos do have a certain Hell on Earth vibe, which I kind of enjoy. However, when exposed correctly, it can make for some very striking photos, in particular during the middle of the day in what people often describe as the harsh midday sunlight. But I think that's where this film shines, almost quite literally. These two photos I really like. I woke up in the morning and the entire city was covered in the thickest fog I'd ever seen. Which is odd, as Wellington never has fog, but this is where the film shines. If you can shoot fog with redscale, it's guaranteed to be a striking photo. After shooting my first medium format roll on my RB67, I then decided to go for the album format, 6x6, on my Mamiya C220. Partly because the album format is cool, but also because my RB67 was having issues with both of its backs. The other reason why I think the album format is cool is if you've ever seen an Alice in Chains cover, especially I believe the album is Dirt. I'm pretty sure this was shot on redscale film, and I wanted to go for that kind of look. I decided that the morning wasn't the best time to shoot, but maybe the middle of the day would be better suited for this dramatic looking film stock. So I headed out to the Mamiya Peninsula in search of the White House you've just seen in my pano photos before. These photos are a lot more striking, as you can see. This mostly monotone film behaves similar to black and white, which really focuses on the play of lights and shadows, which when the composition is right, leads to a very striking and dramatic piece of photographic work. I also think this film stock lends itself to dramatic Mars-inspired photos of rocks. I didn't have a single photo of rocks that didn't hit. Once I'd gotten back this roll, I was very happy with the results. I still had a third and final roll, which whilst I said the morning shots are a little bit meh on this film stock compared to Cinestill's Redrum, which has the halation that kind of just brings a bit more energy to the photo. I think partly before that was just my composition. So after a few interruptions to my schedule, and waiting for good weather and clear sky, I headed out on a late July morning in the middle of winter, before sunrise back to the lighthouse to get the photo I was after. However, as the solstice had passed, I was not going to get the photo I had imagined, as the sun had moved position from where I'd wanted it to be, as I was on the wrong side of the winter solstice, and the sun was too far to the right of the lighthouse to get the shot I wanted, and I had the wrong lens on the Mamiya, as I'd only bought the 90mm lens. But even with my 65mm, it would have been impossible. That wasn't wide enough, and the sun was definitely just too far on the right. So I backed up a little, and by a little, I mean a lot, and I ended up getting these shots instead. I'm unsure why, but for some reason, unlike my previous shots facing directly towards the sun, my metering ended up getting these very silhouetted photos. I suspect it's because the ground does not reflect the sun in the same way water does. However, in their own way, these photos are a lot more dramatic than my other earlier morning shots. I also took these shots of this dude who ended up having a chat with afterwards, who was very happy with the photos that I took. I would like to at some point in the future do a self-portrait quite similar to this, However, I don't currently have the ability to do that with my Mamiya C220, though I am working on a solution. Now, I'd actually shot more photos in the morning than I'd planned, but I had enough left in the roll to get a photo of some neon lights. Having shot this neon photo last year, and seeing Granny Day's Roy sign photo, I think actually this film stock's biggest strength is taking photos at night. By redscaling the light, you can change the atmosphere dramatically, and I was extremely happy with how these photos turned out. Overall, I think this learning experiment / project was pretty successful. Lomo's Redscale is a pretty solid Redscale film, and whilst I prefer the halation of Redrum, I think the ease of Lomo's Redscale outweighs the effort and fidgeting of trying to Redscale cinema film, at least for now, till I find an easy solution. I think next time, after speaking with a fellow Welly photographer who recommended that I maybe should try use a black mass filter next time with the neon lights, just to get a really glow-like effect, which I plan to do, just to take this to the next level. However, you'll just have to wait for me to do a future video to really reach that level. Anyways, as always, it's been real guys. Until next time.